It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Get ready for epic savings at Best Buy. Right now, you can save up to $700 on select Alienware and Dell gaming products. Perfect for leveling up your gaming experience. Plus, grab the latest Android Google Pixel at an unbeatable price. Don't miss these incredible deals. Shop now at bestbuy.com and upgrade your tech today.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
At Rolls Rollo, we don't just sell wallpaper, we create cohesive, cozy spaces. Our deep understanding of design means every pattern, color, and texture is carefully chosen to complement your home. Plus, we use advanced technology and water-based inks for vibrant, eco-friendly prints, ensuring a healthier environment. Visit rollsrolla.com to transform your space today. That's ROLLSROLLA.com today. At 25 Home, our ultimate goal is to provide you with a transformative experience, making each day feel like it has an extra hour. We believe your home is more than just a space, it's a sanctuary where comfort, relaxation, and happiness thrive. Discover the difference at 25 Home today. Shop now at 25home.com.
Get this right. All right, here we go. Sorry, the Pete Sousa Show has started officially now. We're presented by Slovacics, and we've got obviously a lot to cover today. I'm in Tempe, Arizona, got a hoops game tonight. Jerome Tang and his Kansas State team is piping hot, so they have an opportunity now to push further towards the NCAA tournament against Arizona State. That game is tonight, 8 o'clock, ESPN Plus. Also have the Big 12 college football show. That's today at 11 a.m. It's the schedule release show. So you're going to want to watch that. You can watch it on ESPN, ESPNU. It's going to go over live and then re-air on the ESPN channels. And then that's at 11 Eastern. And then you can watch it like on ESPN Plus after and stuff. But it's really cool. Like it's a lot of fun to get into the college football schedules right now because it's February, but you start to look at those schedules and you really get excited and you feel like, all right, like we're not too far away. And the truth is we're really not. Spring ball starts soon. And, you know, who can't, I mean, it's crazy to think college football, right? We're not even finished with the Super Bowl yet, but the schedule release show will do that to you. I promise. So that is coming out later on today in an hour or so. Of course, we got to talk about the Luka Doncic trade. Of course, we got to talk about Baylor basketball. There's some stuff going on around that program. There's some rumors, right? I guess we could just say it like that to be simple for now. And then we're going to visit with Scott Lauer at 11:20 this morning Eastern time, 10:20 Central. Scott was the NBA, was a radio guy for the Hornets, worked in the NBA for about a decade. And he's dialed in. He knows the NBA. He was a huge part in my kind of getting an opportunity in broadcasting. And I'm very interested to see what Scott has to say about this Luka Doncic trade and everything around it. I obviously have some thoughts on that. I mean, who doesn't at this point, right? I mentioned on the show yesterday that I recorded Sunday after the trade had gone down Saturday night. I did one thing. One of the main things I appreciated the most out of the trade, the one positive that I gleaned from it, is that as America, actually the world, really, we all came together talking about a topic that was sports related. It wasn't like a tragic like world event. It wasn't something negative politically. It was cool that everybody had a seat at the table and had something to say about this. I appreciated that. I feel like that doesn't happen enough anymore. So that was a lot of fun. Everybody's phones started buzzing overnight, Saturday into Sunday, and then everybody got a chance to talk about the trade. It sort of knocked the Super Bowl back maybe a couple days, but the Super Bowl's a monster. Don't worry about that. I still come down. There's a few things about this trade because it's still here. We're sitting right 10 o'clock Central on Tuesday, and we still don't have an answer as to actually why the Mavericks did this or executed this trade. Nothing that would make sense is, I guess, the relevant point there. Yo, Swingler, let's get you up here because I haven't talked to you about this yet. We haven't even spoken. Hold on, I'm gonna grab my coffee for this one. I need to hear Scott. Give me your thoughts on this because go. Well, so give me your initial thoughts on the trade Saturday night when you see that this went down.
So I went to bed early Saturday night. As you know, I fell sick. So I went to bed early and actually didn't see it Saturday night, but it was the thing I woke up to Sunday morning. And I am devastated 72 hours later. Like devastated as a lifelong Dallas Mavericks fan. I cannot fathom it. I cannot justify it. I cannot get over it. And I think most Mavs fans feel the same. I retweeted somebody yesterday that said, what people don't understand is like, this actually has a lot to do with Dirk. We watched Dirk go from a raw kind of Europe prospect to a superstar before our eyes, have a 20-year career in Dallas, have a loss in the finals, come back and win a finals. Like, we thought we had struck lightning twice, and we had our next European generational superstar that was going to be a lifelong Maverick and do the same. Like maybe lose a final, get real close, but lead us to another one, get a statue right out there on the concourse right next to Dirk. And Nico Harrison just gutted every Mavericks fan to a level I don't know that we've ever seen in professional sports. If you look at the reaction around the Mavericks fandom, I am like personally hurt by it. And I saw.
Have you? Let me ask you: have you seen anything over the last 72 hours that has helped you mentally
No.
as to why this went down?
No. Yeah. And I mean, okay, so and I'll try to be brief because it's your show, Pete. But
no, come on, man.
They want to talk about his weight or conditioning. Who gives a crap? Like, who cares? The dude just led you to the finals. He's the 3rd points per game scorer in NBA history. Who cares what he weighs? He played the most minutes in the NBA last year. I don't care if he's in shape. Like, he's doing the thing. What are we talking about? They talk about wanting to win now and getting AD. The Spurs just got more, the Kings just got more getting rid of De'Aaron Fox than the Lakers got, or the Mavs got. I can't even talk. I'm so angry. Like it was a bad trade. And I don't know, Pete, I just feel like there are untradeable people. And it wasn't just about Luka's play on the court, which I think makes him untradeable. It is also about he embraced the city of Dallas. Dallas is not a city that most superstars come around to embrace the way that like LA is or Miami is or New York is, right? Luka came in, the heir apparent to the greatest European player ever, to rise up and become, maybe when he retires, the greatest European player ever. Embraced Dallas, embraced the Mavs, embraced everything about it. And we cost him 9 figures shipping him off to LA because apparently the GM doesn't like him.
You bring up a really good point, and it's kind of like an outlier that would only exist in, because Dallas is by no means a small market, but it's a different market NBA wise, and it's not New York, and it's not LA, and maybe it's not Miami. So if you get a star that buys into your town, you never once heard Luka mention, I want to leave Dallas, or I'm going to explore my options. At least I don't remember hearing that. Or his agent, I think, is Bill Duffy.
Well, you saw his statement on social media. He said, I thought I'd spend my whole career here.
Yeah, and so that's an intangible. Like, you're not going to find that kind of commitment in today's player.
No.
I think, Scotty, and see what you think of this, and I'll talk to Lauer about this too. I believe there's a couple things at play here. I think it's incompetency from the ownership group. I think an ownership group with a feel for the city and a feel for the NBA and a feel for superstars would have shut this down. But if you have an ownership group who you can manipulate and say, hey, this guy doesn't stay in shape, you're going to have to pay him $400 million. This is a bad investment for you. And I'm going to solve that problem. Right. I mean, like that's
what it had to be. It had to be about the money. And I just say, suck it. Like I think he's the best player in the NBA. And even people that don't like him are like, oh yeah, he's a top 5 player in the NBA. Like he is a generational superstar talent that could retire as a top 10 player of all time. He's that good. He's that good. You pay him whatever the hell it takes to keep him in Dallas, in my opinion.
And one of the parts about the trade that I think is almost is shady is that they say, came together in the shadows. Well, it has to come together in the shadows, because stuff that comes together in the shadows is usually like there's chicanery going on, right? That's why they call it shady. It's bad business. Right. Because if it's good business, you can bring it out into the light and people will say, okay, like we understand this. But if you operate in the shadows with like 3 or 4 people who are going to have to execute this trade, it keeps others from getting involved and trying to right the situation.
And it prevented the Mavericks from getting the best deal on the basketball court.
Yeah.
Like, you don't think they could have gotten more than 1 first? They could have gotten 4 first-round picks from some team for Luka and a star player.
What I can deduce from that is that they were so hell-bent on getting a deal done for Luka that they had a suitor, and they said, okay, like the more people I feel like they were going to involve, the more, again, the deal like that dies in the light.
Well,
because then you get ownership of other teams getting involved, or you get, players getting involved, or Luka says, I don't want to go. That's why nobody was really privy to it.
And the report yesterday that said Nico knew that there would be great fan backlash.
Yeah.
And that's also part. Dude. All right, Pete. Pete, do I have a minute? Can I make an announcement?
Yeah.
I'm going to make a big announcement. I have never done this before in my life. I told you about standing through Baylor football games in the rain in the 90s when they were losing by 50, right?
Yeah.
I have an announcement to make. Please
Don't do it.
Please respect my decision. I can no longer support a franchise under the direction of General Manager Nico Harrison. After all Luka has done for the city of Dallas and the Mavericks fan base, I cannot forgive Nico Harrison. So until Nico is no longer affiliated with the Dallas Mavericks, I cannot continue supporting
all right, Scott.
As a lifelong LeBron James fan, I am transferring my NBA fandom to LeBron and Luka. Go Lakers.
I want you to read the statement. Scotty, read the statement. Read the statement.
You want me to read it again?
Just read it once. You didn't read it. I want you to read it word for word.
All right, here's what it says. As a lifelong Dallas Mavs fan, I can no longer support the franchise under the direction of General Manager Nico Harrison. His decision to trade away Luka Doncic, effectively costing Luka 9 figures after all Luka has done to embrace the city and fan base, is unforgivable. Until Nico is no longer affiliated with the Dallas Mavericks, I cannot continue supporting them. With that being said, as a lifelong LeBron James fan, I am transferring my NBA fandom to LeBron and Luka. Go Lakers.
Go Scotty.
I'm done, dude. I've never done this in my life. I've never jumped ship. I'm so mad. I'm done. Here, I wanted to show you. Look, I probably shouldn't put these pictures on the internet. This is from a church camp when I was in elementary school. I've been a LeBron James fan as long as there have been LeBron James fans. So my rooting policy all along has been Mavs first, LeBron's team second. That's how I've done it for 20 plus years.
Can we put those pictures back up again, please? One more time. Wow. Look at that.
Elementary school, Scotty, early 2000s. You can see that reflected in
By the way, why are you bullying that kid on the right?
It's a game, Pete. It's a church camp. It's a game. I don't know.
I just want to make sure. Scotty, I appreciate your passion, and I hate to see this happen to fan bases. I said yesterday, when I was a diehard Sixers fan, when they traded Charles Barkley away, we had Julius Erving retired, so that was fine. Retired a Sixer. We traded Barkley away, but he wanted to go. So it was understandable. And by that time, I was in high school, and I sort of understood the landscape a little better. My heart goes out. It truly does for kids that are Mavericks fans all over the DFW, all over Texas. That to me is a really sad state of affairs for folks to have to explain to their kids why this happened. It's just a bummer. I know it's business. I have, and I don't know if it's the old man in me. I have had something in my craw about Nico Harrison for the past 72 hours. And let me tell you, this is funny. This is what I know that I need to talk to my therapist about this, because my first listen to my initial reaction.
I'm listening.
It's do you think you're better than us, dude? That's what, do you think that you're so slick and you know so much and that you can make this move? What you're operating above the law. This is not a real trade scenario. There's no reason. And I have really appreciated some of the NBA experts being so cool about this and being yeah, we don't get it either. Everybody is listening to guys on, ask Brian Windhorst, right? Even watching NBA Today yesterday, I was on the plane out here. Malika Andrews was hey, can you make this make sense? And he was I can't. Mark Spears, the guy who wrote for the Denver Post, maybe he still does for a while, totally reputable NBA writer, was on that same panel. And Mark Spears was hey, we've got to give AD some credit here. And Windhorst waited till he was finished and was yeah, but it doesn't matter. Nobody's saying that Davis isn't a good player and he's not a star, but they are having to be cognizant of the fact that 25-year-old player, 5-time All-NBA, right?
Pete, how disingenuous is it to trade a guy talking about his conditioning and trading him for freaking Anthony Davis, who can't play a full season healthy?
Yeah.
How disingenuous is that?
There's another scenario that, and I talked to the guy who I worked with on Sunday, former college basketball head coach, and he actually did Mavs TV, and he said, look, there's probably way more about this trade than we know right now. Okay, fine, but that hasn't come to the surface in the past 3 days. This is he and I talking Sunday, and he said the Mavs organization has communicated to this guy that Luka reports out of shape, he stays out of shape, he has a terrible relationship with the folks on staff there, right? As far as like their physical therapy team or their strength and conditioning team and their nutritionist. And I think in today's NBA, okay, there is such a low tolerance for this. Like, you've got to treat your body like a temple and all this stuff. And I think that we've lost sight of like natural ability and basketball instincts prevailing over that, right? Because if you have a player that is, and I'll just say, like, if you got a guy who's like a dick or a malcontent, right, doesn't treat people right, which is not what we have in Luka. That is not what you have. Luka's by all accounts, a great kid, right? Like, maybe a little lazy here and there, like as far as staying in shape, but like you are okay with the guy being a jerk as long as he comes to the facility and takes care of himself, right? So, but like, that's not a deal breaker, him being a dick, but him being an awesome player on the floor and a good kid, but he doesn't utilize your exact like nutrition regimen or strength and conditioning program, then he's out. But the bottom line is he continues to produce on the floor
constantly.
This was Nico Harrison, in my humble opinion, spinning to the ownership group that this was a bad investment going forward and that his body would not be able to withstand the NBA rigors over the course of the next 5 years or 10 years, getting paid almost $400 million a year. And the ownership group bought it.
Yeah, we're talking about Luka like he's Zion Williamson, and he's not.
Yeah.
Like, he's the best player in the NBA. I went on my rant, Pete. You know.
All right. We got Scott Lauer coming up. I got one thing I want to get to before we get to Scott. This is something that has become a pretty big deal. And I'm not sure how to comment on it because I have a relationship with Baylor basketball. And truly, there's so many rumors out there. But we got a question from Bear the Truth. And he said, what the heck is the deal? He said, address it to Scotty. But Scotty is the Baylor expert. Okay, so it says, what the heck is the deal with Langston Love and Jeremy Roach? Do we have a possible cancer in the program here? You think it's NIL, bad attitudes, etc. So there was a tweet yesterday put up by somebody who covers Baylor basketball, who knows a lot about Baylor basketball, who is wired into the program. And it was reported that Langston Love and Jeremy Roach, who have been held out of games, Langston is forever day-to-day, and Jeremy Roach has been in concussion protocol for about a week now. No. There was 4 games, so almost 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, that they both didn't play on Saturday, and then they were both at the bar partying Saturday night. And that just solidifies rumors that they're both available to play and that they're willingly not participating, like they don't want to play. The only thing I can weigh in about this, because I've not been in the room when I've heard them say, hey, I can't play or I don't want to play. This is the new day that we're in basketball wise. Whether this report has any credibility, whether it's true or not, I have heard stories in my travels covering games and calling games over the past 2 years, while NIL has started to really gain traction, the wheels have started to move, that guys are making for lack of a better term, like business decisions, right? Like, maybe I don't play this year so I can get a medical red shirt, so I have another opportunity at making a lot of money next year again, which is now on the table because, I'm not able to play 100%. It's no longer about helping the team per se. It's about helping me make the most money I can possibly make in the finite amount of time I have to make it, because let's make believe, right? Jeremy Roach is a very talented player. Obviously, his reputation at Duke, he was a key contributor to a Final Four team, was a 2-time captain, and he's a leader on the floor. But this will be it for him, right? And so far, he's in a situation where he's missed a lot of time. It's very clear that other players are emerging that could possibly eat away at his playing time. So if he comes back, maybe he doesn't make the most of his last year, whereas now he could push it back and have a whole nother year where he can make maybe 500 grand. So those are rumors that are circulating around the program. The guy who, I will say this, and this is classic in today's world of social media, the dude who put up the tweet, good dude, and again, dialed in, he puts it up and takes it right down. And he has great relationships with the coaching staff. And so somebody must have gotten to him and said, hey, you need to take that down ASAP. And he did take it down. So we're going to step aside, come back with Scott Lauer, go into the NBA, talk about exactly what his thoughts are around a trade of this magnitude, if he's ever seen anything like it before. The Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovacics, returns after this.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. Unlock a world of convenience with Mullybox, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your tastes. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. Unlock your full potential with Onnit, your go-to for premium supplements, fitness gear, and wellness essentials. Whether you're training hard, recovering faster, or just looking to feel your best, Onnit has the tools you need to perform at your peak. Visit Onnit, that's ONNIT.com, and elevate your mind, body, and spirit today. At Rolls Rolla, we don't just sell wallpaper, we create cohesive, cozy spaces. Our deep understanding of design means every pattern, color, and texture is carefully chosen to complement your home. Plus, we use advanced technology and water-based inks for vibrant, eco-friendly prints, ensuring a healthier environment. Visit rollsrolla.com to transform your space today. That's ROLLSROLLA.com today. At Tusain's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Tusains.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com.
Ready to bring your vision to life? At Small Rig, every idea, design, and product is inspired by you, the creator. With our industry-first under co-design mode and the Dream Rig free customization project, we unite with global creators to turn big dreams into reality. Whether it's a cage rig or mount, Small Rig's versatile gear is built to elevate your craft. Small Rig, where your creativity meets our innovation. Go to smallrig.com.
Calling all Marvel fans, get Marvel Unlimited and unlock over 30,000 comics featuring your favorite heroes and iconic stories, all available to read anytime, anywhere. Whether you're into classic tales or the latest adventures, there's something for everyone. Don't miss out. Head to marvel.com/unlimited today and start your Marvel journey now.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down to afterwards, was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
All right, there he is, Scotty Lauer. Yeah. Dude, you look great.
Tolerable. I think I put on a shirt for you.
Tilt your computer screen down just a tiny bit. Ready? There you go. Stop.
Okay.
Boom. Wow. Look at that. Son of Harvey. You look great, man.
You.
Scott Lauer.
Where are you right now?
So I'm in Tempe. I got a Arizona State and Kansas State tonight. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to know why it's annoying to hear me on calling your favorite team, whether it's on an ESPN game or on an ESPN Plus game, you have Scott to thank, because it's all his fault. He helped me get involved in all this, got the wheels moving, made me believe in myself, and now here we are.
I'll tell you, I mean, I say this every time I'm on one of your shows, but I follow every platform that you are on, and I love it. No, really, man, I'm so proud of what you've done. It's been awesome.
So I think about you now. I've been making, so I usually, a lot of times I use some of those, and this is for play-by-play folks. We'll get to the Luka thing in a second, but this is top of mind. I will get the chart services, right? Like Tony Britt's, like spotter sheets a lot of times for basketball games. But some of the best games I ever do, Scott, are the ones where I take the manila folder. I just do exactly what you used to do, right? And it's almost like less is more. Like you're not like tied down by all these like wild notes and facts, and you really let the game just kind of come to you and breathe. And that's what you used to do, right?
Yeah. You know, there was a time actually, Steve Martin, you know, the longtime voice of the Hornets, he introduced me to this service. Yeah, I forgot the name of it at the time. This was back like 12, 13 years ago. And I tried it one night and I printed everything out, and it came with all these in-depth stats. And I was so overwhelmed, and it was just out of my element because I was not familiar with it at all. And I talked to him the next day before the next game, and I said, I was just horrible during this broadcast trying your system. I'm going back to the archaic, you know, multicolored pen.
Yeah.
Middle of folder, because that's just what works for me. And I also like writing my own information down, because that was another way for me to remember.
Dude, that is part of the process for me that helps so much. And the multicolored pen, you taught me that. I read, I consume all these books, right? These play-by-play guy books. I remember when I was living with you in Charlotte, I read the Al Michaels book, which I just, again, listened to on audio. But Joe Buck talks about that multicolored pen being like his go-to, like the golden staff and rod, you know?
So I have something in common with Joe Buck. That's good.
Yeah, not just the pipes.
All
right. What about?
You bought me that book, which I love, the Joe Buck book about 50 years ago.
Yeah, it's a tremendous book. It makes him way more likable when you read that.
Yep. Talking about his insecurities with his hair and all that stuff.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So what do we got on this trade? It's Saturday. Did you find out about it Saturday night or Sunday morning?
You know, this is a little surreal too. So one of my good buddies is Kevin Connors. He's an ESPN Sports Center anchor. And I was struggling to fall asleep Saturday night. And I leave my TV on to ESPN generally as I go to sleep. And so I'm in a daze and a fog, and I hear Kev in the background. And I wasn't sure if it was a dream or what. But he's like, breaking news, Luka Doncic traded for Anthony. And I'm thinking to myself, this can't be. Is this really happening? And, you know, I'm half asleep. But that's how wild it was for me. I just couldn't believe it. And then I'm listening even more and more. And, of course, there was the shock factor involved. Nobody knew this was coming. So my whole thing on this is the Lakers clearly won the deal. I mean, you get a guy who's top 3, top 4 in the league, and he's not even in his prime. But the thing that still resonates with me, and I was listening to you guys before I came on, and I've heard this perspective. It's, you know, Dallas is trying to paint it like he's the guy that we can't trust with his future and his conditioning and all that. And maybe they don't want another Joel Embiid situation where they're paying a guy exorbitant amounts of money that's only playing half the time, things like that. But at the end of the day, his production has been unreal. He's been to the finals. He's been to the Western Conference Finals another year, all by the age of 24 at the time. But the thing that I can't get over, even if you think all of these things, you have to auction him. You've got to tell every team in the NBA, Luka Doncic can be had. What are you going to give us? You can't go to one team and basically negotiate against the one. You've got to have a bidding war created. It's like selling a house. You put it on the market to have open competition. You don't just go to one buyer and say, what's your offer? Great, we've got a deal. That to me is something that Nico can definitely not justify ever. Because deep down, if he had canvassed the league, even though he targeted Anthony Davis, obviously, he still could have gotten more from LA. There's no question about that.
Do you feel at all like, where does ownership come down on this? I know you and I really favor Mark Cuban. I remember he was a guy who, I remember Scott tried to pitch a dating site to Mark Cuban back in the day. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he gets right back to you. Like great. Like he's just a very, I don't know. Everybody, I liked my interactions with Cuban. I know you did too. He's now out of the fold. If he's still the owner of the Mavs, does this trade happen?
I don't think so. I mean, and of course, we don't know the inner workings and the new ownership group shun this, or if Nico convinced them he's not worth the gamble and all that. But I just, to me, Doncic was part of the Cuban era legacy, stealing the sky and going deep early in his career. I just can't see this happening with Cuban on board. But I think it also speaks to the fact that Cuban really doesn't have any kind of a voice now, which I think maybe he thought he would as he sold to this group.
How about the players in this? Like, LeBron didn't know. Jason Kidd didn't know. Obviously, Luka did not know. And I think that, do you believe, like, if it became that auction style that you and I believe would have gotten the Mavericks the most out of the deal, but does that shut the deal down? Like, the more people get involved, the more it slows it down, and Luka says, I don't want to be traded. No.
I don't think so at all. I mean,
Okay.
I think that's a defensive approach, and maybe Dallas will spin it that way down the road. But no, I think you've got to put it out there, because according to what I've heard, literally no other GM even knew Doncic was realistically available, and Doncic didn't have the ability to say no. Only LeBron James and Bradley Beal have no trade clauses, so he doesn't have any leverage. I mean, it may have been awkward, and sure, there's the shock factor that we all would have had when they put it out there. But that's the only way to get true value. I mean, look, Mikal Bridges got 5 first-round picks, basically, right? I mean, and again, we know Davis is a great player, and he's going to be marvelous for 3 or 4 years, but he's 5.5 years older than Doncic. I think they could have gotten Austin Reeves instead of like a Max Christie, even though I like Christie as well, or maybe at least a couple of extra first-round picks. But again, we'll never know. That's the hypothetical mess, because they didn't have this bidding war in the auction. So they have no idea truly what the value was. But when we're talking with a top 3 guy, I mean, behind Jokic, I can make a case he's number 2 based on his age and his production. Maybe, of course, Giannis is in there and things like that. But that's what you get. In 5 years, Davis is in the deep dotage of his career, and Doncic could still be in his late prime. No, it makes no sense, the value that they got.
Would David Stern have stopped this trade?
I don't think so. I don't think it was that unfairly balanced per se, only because you're getting a great player in his prime in Davis. So I wouldn't go that far. Like it was like one of those old Chris Paul trades. No.
Do you have any like experience or like what do you know about Nico Harrison?
I don't know much about him.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard of his history with, I guess, Rob Pelinka, and going back to like the Kobe Bryant ties and the whole agency deal.
So he was Kobe's Nike rep when Kobe was with the obviously with the Lakers, and Pelinka was his agent. So there's like a tie in there, right? Which is also sort of worrisome. Like, it's and we've seen this before. It's like 2 buddies making a deal. I just can't believe something of this magnitude happens in a silo like that. It's so hard to understand. Are there any deals that you can remember in your history following the NBA that have mirrored this, or you can compare to this?
No, I mean, with the Lakers, like when Pau Gasol was acquired from Memphis, right? And Marcus, all funny enough, was kind of like what we thought at the time was maybe a little throw-in, and he turned out to be actually a really good piece long term. But at the time, we were thinking, I mean, who was that, like Javaris Crittenden in that deal? And just like, speaking of former Charlotte players, like it seemed to be a completely lopsided deal at the time. And of course, Gasol helped them, win a championship. But no, and again, I think we all can acknowledge it's not because they didn't get back a great haul, but I think they could have gotten back more, and they didn't give themselves a chance to really see the value in it. To me, that is absolutely inexcusable for a GM. You have to get it out there.
What's the future like for Luka in LA? In your opinion, based on your experience, again, following the league, tracking the league, working in it, and then, LeBron's 40 years old. Who knows how much time he's got left, and he's going to have to. I don't know if he's going to have to. That's probably a bad way of putting it, but it's probably Luka's team now. When you think about the future, how do things take shape there?
I mean, I think we got a little bit of a precursor with LeBron sort of acquiescing to Anthony Davis in the last couple of years, or trying to promote his prowess and trying to defer to him a little bit and say, now this is AD's team. So I think maybe he can, easily push aside any ego that maybe we would have questioned with LeBron years ago. But I'm actually fascinated by the two playing in harmony right now. I mean, like you've got like a pick and roll with Doncic and James, and like sliding it over to the other guy on short rolls, and then because they're both exquisite passers. I mean, I think, the interesting thing to me is like Dallas, people are saying Dallas is going to be better now. Why are they going to be better now with Davis than Doncic? I never even understood that take from a lot of people, of media members. But I think they need a big, LA, of course. But once they get a big, probably in the next couple of days before the deadline, I mean, who wants to play them? James, Doncic, Reeves is a fantastic third option, and he can create as well. So they've got, great creators all around the court now.
So back to the Mavs. So people are excited that Anthony Davis won't have to play the 5 as much, and that's where he was extremely effective playing for the Pelicans. Do you feel like that is something that will be really important for the Mavs to have? Like, are we not? I guess will Anthony Davis play out of his mind now because he's playing the 4, kind of to push back a little bit on what you were just saying? Like, is that why people are so excited about Dallas?
I mean, it's an intriguing roster with all like their athleticism up front and the length. I mean, I don't know if it's added incentive for AD, but seemingly he's been complaining most of his career. I think even in New Orleans, I remember him years ago saying, hey, I want to be the 4. I don't want to be the 5, or whatever that's worth. But I guess he'll be more of in his comfort zone now. I mean, I think Doncic is the one that probably has more to play for with, the criticism about his conditioning and maybe his high maintenance ways. Davis, it seemed like, jumped at the chance to go to Dallas without much pushback from what I heard, which is interesting. I think Dallas is a really strong team, but I'm not convinced they're any better now than they were 3 days ago, having Davis versus Doncic. But look, I can appreciate length and defense, and they've definitely improved that. And I think Max Christie, for what it's worth, is a quality young player as well. But again, I just harken back to the value, and I don't think they maximized it.
Are we putting too much emphasis? And this is, I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, it was so much better before we had cell phones and, before we could stream everything and get on social media, or in the basketball sense, before analytics, right? But is this a tipping point for analytics and all the bells and whistles now that come with an NBA organization? You're paying somebody to cook their food. You're paying somebody to put them on a scale every morning. Everybody's got to sort of justify an existence and a job. And, so this basketball operations staff and fitness staff that has to keep Luka in tip-top shape, that is completely just getting blown off time and time again by him. Like, I feel like that had something to do with this, right? Like, in our NBA growing up as kids, this never would have been an issue. Like, could you imagine if I mentioned this? What if the Sixers had traded Charles Barkley in like 1984? You know, because guy just won't get in shape. He's been here for a year. Like, screw him. He's out of here. Like, you know, no, that never would have happened back then because nobody gave a shit. Just get out there and play, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that has contributed to a deal like this going down?
I'm not sure externally, even though, things get out there now. And so maybe it's a little more embarrassing for an organization.
But I mean, I even mean internally, Scott. Like, like the strength and conditioning guy going to Nico Harrison, like he didn't show up again today for a while.
Yeah, no,
mean?
I think that's fair. But at the same time, you've got to parse what is important. And you've got to weigh, okay, Luka may be high maintenance. I don't want to put words in their mouth. Or maybe he's not in the best of shape, or he's 20 pounds heavier than they would like. But you've got to weigh the productivity. I mean, that's also the interesting thing for me. Let's just say he is out of shape and he is high maintenance. They just went to the finals and they went to the Western Conference Finals, not far behind that. So I would take my chances on that with a guy that's still 25 years old versus maybe letting your pride and ego get in the way if you're management. But yeah, I think you have a fair point that there's more for them to digest.
I think so. I feel like there's so many, although this was a decision and deal, like it's like almost like a boutique operation, just like 3 or 4 people involved, or maybe just 2. But, you know, there's so many cooks in the kitchen now on the basketball side. And, you know, are you doing this? Are you doing that? I feel like there could be a little bit of, you know, having bubbled up there, maybe contributing more to this deal being made.
I mean, imagine if Doncic was on Pat Riley's Miami squad. I mean, when LeBron was with Riley, there were whispers that Riley was shutting him down for having his personal entourage on the private charters and things like that. And LeBron was used to having everybody in Cleveland cater to his every whim. And Riley was like, hell with that. You know, not here.
That's a question I wanted to ask you last week, but I couldn't wrangle you and clearly now you're the picture of health, but you were sick last week. Really, you look great. Pat Riley, is that gone now? The Pat Riley, like, you know, iron fist approach. It's a players' league, and I feel like the Jimmy Butler situation last week, sort of. I heard Kendrick Perkins say that. Really, that Larry, that Pat Riley needs to just understand that it's not 1996 anymore, and that things have changed. Where do you come down on that?
I think people have to be who they are. I mean, Nico Harrison, you know, had a shade of Pat Riley, and he obviously thought that enough was enough in his own world. If you think it's what's best for the team moving forward and variables are not worth it, then move on. I mean, I respect that from Riley. I think that's refreshing, frankly. I mean, is Butler winning in this? I don't know. I mean, he's losing a lot of money. He's losing some, I think, of his reputation that maybe he had restored. But I think this is the old Butler coming out because everywhere he goes, it ends this way. Everywhere.
Yeah. And now he's too old where I don't even think it matters. I don't know. I heard Frank Iasola say yesterday that, you know, he was like, you know, speaking as if he were GM, like I wouldn't bother with him anymore because he's too old now for all this.
No, I mean, he's solid. He's a 17.5 rebound, 5 assist guy. That's a headache. And so why do you want to pay this guy $50 million? So I personally applaud Riley. And I'm old school as a New Yorker. And But no, I think he's putting a guy in his place. And you can't question Riley's approach and his success level for all these years. But, you know, and quickly going back to the Doncic thing, it's interesting when you look at some of the best players in the league. I think sometimes people can overlook bodies, right? Like, okay, Doncic is a big guy. Jalen Brunson is, you know, bigger bone per se, right? He doesn't look like a track star. Kevin Durant is still a toothpick, right? You know, 17 years later in the league. You don't have to look the part to be a great player. So again, Dallas knows more about Doncic than anybody. So that's an interesting flag in itself, but the production you can never have any qualms with, and the fact that they didn't canvas the league was a grave mistake for value.
Lauer, you got to do this with me at least every 2 weeks now that we're in the thick of it. We're basketball season. Come on.
This is great. Yeah. You know, I'm on board with anything you want. You know that.
I'm going to send you something. I mean, we can talk about this offline, but there's a great interview that Dan Lebatard did with Pat Riley. It's like an hour and 15 minutes. You got to hear it. It's amazing. It was just recent.
How do you have time for all this? You know,
I
you're a big media mogul, and now you're listening to other podcasts.
I go on. I used to go on runs, as you know, all the time, and now I'm like you. I walk everywhere, so I'm doing more walking, and that's when you have time to listen to stuff.
So your joints are getting the best of you too.
I mean, it's just not. I don't have it like I used to, man. I mean, hey, father time, baby.
Are you 48 now?
Tomorrow.
Happy birthday. Tomorrow.
Christy threw like a birthday party for me over the weekend, and she got a cake and it said 48 on it. I was like, yo. Let's just can we get the number off the cake, you know?
I love it. All right. We're going to talk more about Christy later.
All right, we will. And you are the best. Scott Lauer, a good friend, NBA experience. He is a Hall of Famer in the Pete Sousa show. That's for sure. All right, Scotty. We'll talk soon, man.
Later.
All right, the Pete Sousa Show presented by Slovacics. We will return after this.
Protect your car with 3W Liners all-weather floor mats. Made from durable materials like TPE and rubber, our mats are designed to withstand rain, snow, and mud with deep grooves to trap dirt and liquids. For a custom fit and advanced protection, visit 3W Liners. That's the number 3, WLINERS.com today. At 25 Home, our ultimate goal is to provide you with a transformative experience, making each day feel like it has an extra hour. We believe your home is more than just a space, it's a sanctuary where comfort, relaxation, and happiness thrive. Discover the difference at 25 Home today. Shop now at 25home.com.
I need to get real excited.
Sure.
Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Sheridan Vasquez. And this is Sheridan Soundcheck Sessions. And I will be interviewing some of your favorite musicians and maybe some you've never heard before. Join me on Sheridan Soundcheck Sessions for something new every time. You can find Sheridan Soundcheck Sessions anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemediamusic.com. Yeehaw. And keep the music playing.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's all we need.
Yeah.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. Turn your passion into profit? With Blogify, creating a blog has never been easier. Build, customize, and grow your site with powerful tools designed for beginners and pros alike. Start sharing your story today and watch your audience grow with Blogify. Visit blogify.ai today for a free 3-day trial. That's Blogify, BLOGIFY.ai today. Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com. Stay connected no matter where you are with eSIM-X. Say goodbye to expensive roaming charges and physical SIM cards. With access to over 200 global carriers, we make mobile connectivity seamless and affordable for travelers worldwide. Join the future of communication today at eSIMX.com. That's ESIMX.com.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Easy Sun has been living fearlessly under the sun since 2016. Born from sailors' need for convenient sun protection, our mineral sunscreen is crafted with natural ingredients offering broad spectrum protection against UVA and UVB rays. Safe for your skin and the environment, stay protected on the go with Easy Sun, your ultimate sun care solution. Visit EasySun.com today. That's EEZYSUN.com.
All right, hold on. I had the schedule release show up. You can watch right now on the Big 12. Scotty or Zach back there, can you take Scott Lauer, former voice of the Charlotte Hornets, down? There we go. It's down. All right, we got a couple things to get to as we close out. I want to answer a couple questions. We got some cool emails. Okay, or some cool stuff in the chat. All right. How does this compare, bear the truth, to what Jerry Reinsdorf did and Jerry Krause did in Chicago? He's talking about Luka. Look, I don't think that you can compare the two really, because it was the dismantling of a franchise that had reached the summit. Luka didn't even get a chance to reach the summit as far as his potential with the Mavs. I think that you can. I think you can clearly say that what was done in Chicago was, malpractice from an organizational standpoint, because you took apart one of the best franchises in sports history. That's like a one of one, really. But in particular here, we're talking about a trade. I don't remember ever seeing a trade like the Luka trade. Let's get into some of the Baylor content out there. They have a big game tonight against Texas Tech. One of the questions we got about Jeremy Roach, when you can see, is just to go backwards a little bit. There was a rumor yesterday that Jeremy Roach and Langston Love, who have been held out. I mean, Langston Love's been out for a very long time. And Jeremy Roach has been out since he sustained a concussion. He's been in concussion protocol for probably about 2 weeks now. A guy who you brought over to be a key contributor for your organization and for your team. They were both out at the bar on Saturday night, right? So there was a tweet about that. And let me turn this off, actually. Who knows? Maybe somebody could come and take the show down. So I have a couple things on my mind about this. One, guys can be hurt and go to the bar. Sorry, you can. Okay, you're not playing sports. You're going to the bar. You're in college. It's your personal life, dude. You do what you want. Those guys are adults. You trust that they would not do things like that if they're hurt, and you don't want them to put themselves in harm's way. But at the same time, too, it's like, come on, man. Like these are young men who want to go out and blow off some steam. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're drinking too much or acting crazy. You're allowed to go out. All right. There is a lot of stuff like this. Forget about the Baylor situation in particular going on now in college basketball. These type of rumors, these type of stories are not specific to Baylor basketball. So lest anyone think that there's an issue with the Baylor basketball program that is unique in itself and other programs don't have the same exact problems, I can be the first to tell you in my experience doing what I do that that's not the truth, okay? This stuff is happening all over college basketball. One of the questions we got was, has Jeremy Roach already played too many games to medical redshirt? Now, this is like a totally nuanced answer, but if Baylor were to play deep into the postseason, then if he doesn't play another game, will have played less than 30% of his games, which means that he could get a medical redshirt, but he can't play another minute, right? So that answers that question. The Langston Love thing, I mean, I really don't know what's going on there. And I think that, again, the person who tweeted that comment that these guys are healthy to play and they're not playing, he took it right down, which to me even gives it more credibility. because you'd think that somebody within the organization or the program was like, hey, take that down right now. You're putting us, at risk, whatever at risk, the sports version of it is. So that's a situation in itself that I will hope that time will heal. I have no idea what I would, if I was the Baylor basketball program. I think you just play on. I don't know that you comment on that. I know that switching gears to my game tonight, I got Arizona State and Jerome Tang's Kansas State Wildcats. Kansas State's playing really well. I'm really excited to do this game tonight. And Arizona State, again, is like pushing to make its way onto the bubble. And Bobby Hurley, that last game, you saw B.J. Freeman headbutt Caleb Love in that Arizona State game. And, Bobby Hurley pulled his team off the floor. They didn't shake hands. Bobby Hurley's talking to the media about that for the first time this morning. So he's being pretty transparent. That is a situation that happened on the floor that you really cannot you have to address that. Doing a good job as a coach and someone who is overseeing a basketball program like that. It happened in plain sight. The stuff with Roach and Love, it's all rumors right now. And, do you have to address rumors and give them more life, or do you want to keep that within your Baylor family? That's up to Coach Drew. That's why Coach Drew is an extremely successful coach. And by the way, an extremely successful person in the field of life. And I think he'll make the right decision as to how he handles this. And that also is like, you talk about faith in programs and faith in your teams. Baylor's coming off a win against Kansas. They have an opportunity now to play Texas Tech. I can assure you that Scott Drew is doing the absolute most he can with the pieces that are available to him. So as a Baylor basketball fan, you have to trust that a coach who I will say, because I was part of that mix, being a person who calls Waco home, like we were all hysterical at the thought of Scott Drew leaving for Kentucky this past summer, right? Well, he's here. You got him. You got to have faith in Scott Drew. Cheer the team on the floor, okay? And the rumors and the innuendo, that's something that every college basketball fan that's dialed in enough to their program is having to deal with now. If it's happening at Baylor, I can promise you it's happening everywhere else in the country. That is something to keep in mind. Have faith in Scott Drew and the Baylor Bears. And believe you me. That's how Howard Stern impersonates his mom. Scott Drew is going to get the most out of this team. All right. The Pete Sousa Show rolls on tomorrow. We got one more coming from Tempe. I didn't even get to tell you about the star-studded event I went to last night. Michelle Tafoya was the MC. Matt Burke, former Minnesota Vikings center, Harvard grad, one of the best centers of his day and age for sure, was on those Randy Moss teams. He was another MC. Robin Yount was there. Mark Malone, the old Steelers football player, was there. I have an entire program. There were so many. Kenny Dillingham, right? Arizona State head coach. It was part of the Waste Management Open. It was a really cool event. I went in as a guest to Scott Williams, and it was to support the Boys and Girls Club. Support the Boys and the Girls Club if you can. I sent Zach a picture of Hulk Hogan that was autographed that I'm sure he put a bid in on. So that's it for the Pete Sousa Show. We'll be back tomorrow. Peace and love. Peace and love. Baylor Bears fans and Dallas Mavericks fans. I don't know about the Mavericks fans. I don't know. I can't tell you to have faith in that organization. But Bears fans, have faith. Keep the faith. We'll talk tomorrow.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me, and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is Stark.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internix. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internx.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today. Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farms, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Transform your workspace with Hanomi Ergonomics. From adjustable chairs to standing desks, we provide solutions for comfort and productivity, whether at home or in the office. Improve your posture, reduce strain, and work smarter. Visit us at hanomi.co today. That's HINOMI.co today. At Acasis, innovation drives us. Since 2008, we've been creating cutting-edge technology products that make your life easier. With a focus on performance, design, and customer service, we're here to help you work smarter, not harder. Join us on our journey to simplify your world. Visit acasis.com today. That's ACASIS.com today. We are Rogue Media Sports.